Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to this week's celebration of service. My name is Lauren Snyder. Honored to be the president of this wonderful group of people. I want to thank Art for welcoming us and greeting us on our way in. Art, thank you. And then also Sarah Laughlin has transitioned to our roundabout reporter for the month of March. So thank you to Art and Sarah. Now I want to invite, now I want to invite Mike Baker up for our pledge and reflection. Mike?
Please join me in our pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please be seated. Hey, John. And you're not a guest today either, are you? That's right. Is Liz Vidal here? Is Liz here? Hi, Liz. I just wanted to say that Liz and I finally made our schedules work for lunch buddies, and we had a good time. She took me to a little place I haven't been in years, La Petite, downtown, and we got to know a little bit more about each other. So if you haven't done that yet, I'd encourage you, because we had fun, didn't we, Liz? Well, I changed my reflection based on the temperature yesterday and today. So I'll say that for another time, but I wanted to just talk a little bit about the weather. So I suggest that many of us are probably ready for a change of weather. So I came across this little poem that talks about our current weather and how we're looking forward to spring. This winter feels colder than ever, or maybe I'm just more sensitive these days. When the wind is a fire engine and the moon is sinister and blue, I'm all bundled up for it, stamping my feet, drinking rum, counting the days into the yellow flowers. So I think we're all looking forward to spring, right? But there's a caution. And I read this and I thought about it, and it is true. There's a tendency to want and hurry from autumn to spring to avoid the long, dark days that winter brings. Many people do not like constant days bereft of light and months filled with cold temperatures. They struggle with the bleakness of land and the emptiness of trees. Their eyes and hearts seek color. Their spirits tire of tasting the endless gray skies, and there's a great rejoicing in the thought that light and warmth soon will be filling more each day. But winter darkness has its positive side to it. As we gather to celebrate the first turn from winter to spring, we are invited to recognize and honor the beauty and the often unwanted season of winter. Let us invite our hearts to be glad for the courage winter proclaims. Oh, can't hear me?
No.
Okay. Want me to start over? No. So, as we gather to celebrate the first turn from winter to spring, we are invited to recognize and honor the beauty and often unwanted season of winter. Let us invite our hearts to be glad for the courage winter proclaims. Let us be grateful for the wisdom winter brings in teaching us about the need for withdrawal as an essential part of renewal.
Thank you, Mike. The news told me only 15 days until spring. All right, now I want to invite Kate up for our introduction of our guests, which we have quite a few, I think. So, Kate.
We have 5 guests that I know of. If there are others, let us know. And if you would stand up when I say your name, we can give you a great Rotary welcome. Liz Vidal's guest is Sherry Schuler. She's in Resource Development in United Way. Heather Robinson is a guest of Jean Emery. She's with Bloomington Health Foundation. And Jim Bright has 2 guests today. Tommy Bell, who he just says he's retired, so that's rich. And Pablo Baquez in Math and Technology Development. And Megan Gerhardt is a guest of Art Omick. She's with Rotary Rotaract. And as you're probably well aware, if you want to know anything more about Rotary, there are probably a few people in the room who could help you out.
Thank you very much, Kate, and welcome to everybody, friends and guests, for being here today. Our Rotary family birthdays, Bob Salzberg is on the 6th, and Keith Miser is on the 9th. So happy birthday to Bob and Keith. Membership anniversaries, Liz Feidel, 15 years. Does that sound about right? I don't know. I don't know either, Liz, so okay. We'll say 15 years. All right, pre-program announcements here. Our It Takes a Village resource fair for parents, infants, toddlers is taking place Saturday, May 18th at the warehouse, and there is some nice momentum going there. Some sponsorships coming in, particularly to our speaker, the Health Foundation for supporting as the title sponsor, and then Aaron, myself, Efrat. Who else was over there? Sarah, Laughlin. We've had several from our club involved in that. I think that's going to be a really, really impactful event for our community. And once again, I hate to bring it up, but we're one of the worst in infant mortality in the nation, so we have to keep raising awareness of that. Marilyn, you and your husband were also there, so thank you for that. Our Lunch Buddies program, as Mike referenced, for the third quarter, please make an opportunity to connect with your buddy, and make sure you reach out to Natalie, because we are giving you a attendance makeup for doing that, going above and beyond and making that connection with your lunch buddy. So let Natalie know once you check that box and meet for coffee, lunch, however and whenever you choose to meet. Our March service opportunities to continue our 12 months of service, we need one. So we don't have anything scheduled. We had 3 service opportunities in February. We don't have one scheduled for March. So if anybody has an idea that you think we could participate in, once again, I am not asking for us to lead the charge on an event. I just want to provide our members with an opportunity to get out and serve if and when it is available. So let myself know, and we can make it part of the regular announcements. So March, we're in need of some opportunities to serve, so let me know. Finally, at the last board meeting, we formally approved and we have sent the check for our Rotary Myanmar water project. And Natalie sent that check end of last week for $9,000. And if you remember, we are pre-funding that water filtration and management system for a water filtration system that's going to serve 500 members of a Myanmar community and village. So we need to raise the money that we've already expended from our cash reserves that we have, because J.T. Waring from the Los Angeles Club needed the funds up front to put obviously the wheels in motion for that. So we've expended the money, and you'll see I did arts and crafts this weekend. No, my wife did not help me. This was all me. And it provides a little bit of a quick project history, as well as the world water crisis. It's unbelievable. I think there's a stat in there. Every couple of minutes, there's a child under the age of 5 that dies because they have lack of access to clean water and sanitation. That is unacceptable in my opinion, and I know that's impacting Myanmar. And so our well back there, you'll see, is very empty right now. We don't have much in the well at this point. That's going to be our thermometer as we raise our $9,000 over the course of the next year. Aaron and I are mutually going to share that over our 2 presidencies. So if you want to be participating in that, we've officially kicked it off, we've funded it, and we're going to be having raising funds for that project. Any questions, let me know on that. Deep breath. Happy dollars. I don't think Susie's here. I know Gene or Michael are always willing. Gene, you want to hop up and collect happy dollars for us? Anybody have anything exciting going on? Yeah, Owen.
I'm happy because of the program that I saw on WTIU last night, honoring a longtime Bloomingtonian who's been a speaker at our club, Bob Hamill. And I recommend see that and buy his memoir, which he wrote about 2 years ago, and then Michael Sarita made it really readable.
Thank you, Owen. Absolutely. Yeah, Liz.
Happy to go to Seymour on Saturday and watch the grandson help win the regionals.
Yeah. Katie.
I'm happy because last Friday we shared the Stories of Peace project at the Media School, which is a community service project that Media School students work with community partners to develop video and media projects based on their needs that tell positive stories from the Bloomington community. And it was a huge success, thanks in part to Michael Sherman, helping connect us to those great community partners, and Ashley Sullivan, I don't know if she's in here today. One of the projects was about the college internship program. So I will share the link on our Facebook page when those videos are ready to watch.
Great, thank you, Katie. Steve, yeah, Ann.
I'm happy to be back. I had a cold and laryngitis. More importantly, I was talking to Margie Rice this morning. She's been spending time with Charlotte, and I was so relieved to hear Charlotte's doing great. She's spunky as always. She was watching the Cohen hearings like, what is that? What is he? And she's in Stonecroft, and she likes visitors. Somebody goes there after lunch.
Oh, great, thank you, Ann. Yeah, Steve.
I'm happy, not just happy, but thrilled that IU beat Michigan State.
Yeah.
I want to piggyback on Owen. In addition to getting that wonderful book, support your public television station. They aired it and they made it share. Additionally, the best part of your spring. It's spring.
Spring training, go Cubs, right? Yeah. All right, anybody else? All right, thank you, Gene. Appreciate that. All right, now I want to invite Mr. Michael Sherman up to introduce our one and only program for the day.
Thanks, Lauren. Okay, so John Barada currently serves as the president of the Bloomington Health Foundation, where he oversees an investment portfolio in excess of $34 million and has accountability for revenue and expense performance. Governed by a local board of directors, the Bloomington Health Foundation is committed to helping people of Bloomington and neighboring communities lead healthier lives. Recent successful local healthcare initiatives include a $720,000 campaign to support critical upgrades to the neonatal intensive care unit, a $320,000 campaign to support the trauma services department, and a $150,000 campaign in support of the hospital's free Alzheimer's resource service. The Bloomington Health Foundation also presents the Hoosiers Outrun Cancer, the state's largest 5K with over 5,500 participants and volunteers. I'm going to tell a little story about that in a moment. I could read about another 3 or 4 paragraphs about all of his accomplishments in fund development. Fund development, and but I'm gonna. You can grasp the concept that he's very successful at the many organizations he's worked with. John holds a Bachelor of Science from the Kelley School and a Master's in Business Administration from Butler University. Wait for it. John is currently working to earn his fundraising certificate from the Lilly School of Philanthropy at Indiana University, and John and his wife Brooke, a pediatric nurse practitioner with IU Health. Riley Physicians have 3 children, Kate 13, Ellie 11, and Ben 9. Now for that story. So besides knowing John as a particularly friendly guy out in the community, he gave me the opportunity to give a big gift to a friend. I was running in the Hoosier Outrun Cancer race, and John was on the microphone holding up and really screaming out loud and shouting and cheering, saying, "Here comes, Bob, and here comes Mary," on number, what their number was, and everybody would clap, and people who knew that person would scream loudly, obviously. So I finished the race, and I had a friend who was 85 that day. He was running, and he obviously was going to finish a little bit later than me. So I went over to John, and I said, "Hey, do me a big favor. Is there any chance that you could ask everybody around the finish line to sing happy birthday?" And John said yes. And as he came across the finish line, they sang happy birthday to him. He's 90 now, and he remembers that so fondly. He calls it one of the bigger gifts on his birthday that he ever received. So I want to thank John for giving me a lifelong gift, which he's involved with all over, for doing that.
I didn't know that. That's great. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Lauren, fellow Rotarians. I'm really honored to be here today. I love this club and all the things that we're doing as an organization. We're really proud at the Bloomington Health Foundation to be the presenting sponsor for the It Takes a Village fair that's coming up. And that's just one of the things that we're now uniquely positioned to do in the community with our new orientation as the Bloomington Health Foundation. So what I want to do is take you on a little bit of a journey here, and I want to kind of tell a story about our organization and where we've been and how we have come to be where we are today, the Bloomington Health Foundation. So the Bloomington Hospital Foundation is now the Bloomington Health Foundation. Founded in 1967, we're Bloomington's original healthcare nonprofit. About 2017, well, I want to stay out of the legalese here, but the BHF has always been and is an independent 501c3 organization with an independent local board of directors. We obviously existed to support Bloomington Hospital as part of our charter and part of what we were arranged to do by the local Council of Women, actually spawned us in 1967. And so as Clarion Health Partners came in and started acquiring hospitals in 2010 and then later was renamed IU Health, and in 2012, they started on this journey of consolidation and acquiring hospitals across the state of Indiana. Ball Memorial Hospital in Muncie, Arnett Hospital in Arnett, Methodist Hospital, Paoli, Bedford, Bloomington, et cetera. So I think there may be now 16, Joyce, you may know, 17, 18 different hospitals now that are within the IU Health family. But in the wake of those acquisitions were these legacy foundations. So the Ball Memorial Foundation in Muncie and the Riley Children's Hospital in Indianapolis and the Bloomington Hospital, who were, in many cases were constructed and organized as separate legal entities. And so in 2000 and maybe early 2017, IU Health said, we have a new vision. We're going to have one IU Health Foundation for the entire footprint of IU Health, from Muncie, Ball, down to Paoli, all the hospitals in the metro Indianapolis area. And so the invitation was made to our board to dissolve itself, gift its assets to the IU Health Foundation, which is headquartered in Indianapolis, and dissolve the Bloomington Hospital Foundation. That was the invitation to our board. And after a lot of thoughtful discernment, our board ultimately declined that invitation. They said, no, thank you. We appreciate that there's a new IU Health Foundation that'll be working in this community to raise money for the tertiary care setting of IU Health. But we think there's a role and a place for the Bloomington Hospital Foundation to stay independent. We think we have an obligation to the donors who gave us money here to keep that money local. And we think there's some gaps that we can fill in partnership with IU Health as they're working on their space. If we can come in right alongside of them and supplement and start to extend some of the health initiatives that are going on in this community, that's what our board felt that we could do. And thus, the Bloomington Health Foundation was created. I'm incredibly honored to be joined in our foundation by three of the most extraordinarily dedicated professionals I've ever worked with. Heather Robinson, who's here with us today. Maybe many of you might know Heather from her time at the Chamber of Commerce. She's our Chief Financial Officer and our Finance and Operations Manager. Karen St. John, on your right on the picture, is our Vice President and Chief Development Officer. And then Lauren Dexter serves as our Marketing and Special Events Director. So what I like to think, I wish I had a lapel mic. I like to be out here and active. What I like to think of is we've, for those of you that like to take photographs, we've zoomed out and we've expanded the horizon by which we can engage in the community. As the Bloomington Hospital Foundation, we were really myopically focused on the four walls of IU Health Bloomington. NICUs, cardiac cath lab, emergency department, the things inside the hospital. We've purchased cath lab equipment and x-ray machines and baby warmers and beds for dads to sleep in the NICU with mom and baby. And so now, as we've zoomed out from that perspective, that still very clearly includes the hospital, but it also allows us to partner with Rotary to bring it takes a village conversation to our community. And I'm going to speak to some of the other investments that we've made in the community, but it allows us to do more and it allows us to expand beyond just the four walls of the hospital. So first, I want to just talk about our new name and our new logo. So you can see we are now the Bloomington Health Foundation. It's the same organization, same bylaws, same assets, same board of directors, new name, and a new logo. One of the things that we had the experience of doing over the past year is building a new logo and building a new website, and I've never done that before in my career, so it was really fun and exciting. We worked with Blue Line partners in town, and it was really a creative experience, and so I'm really proud of our new logo. It's unique, it's different, it's bold. A couple of markers on this. So the bold colors really signify our commitment to taking bold chances in our community and to making bold investments around our community's most pressing health needs. The intersection of the lines really signifies our commitment to collaboration. The issues that we are facing as a community when it comes to our overall health are too insurmountable for any one organization to deal with on their own. We must collaborate with anybody and everybody who's willing, other organizations, individual donors, anybody who's willing to kind of join in the fight to make our community healthier. We must collaborate. And then the circles kind of point to our new signifying word, health, and you can see health is bigger there in the logo. So we're really proud of that logo and our new name. We want to be a relevant leader in the movement to improve lives in this community. A healthier tomorrow for us and our board of directors means a shared vision to create a stronger, more vibrant community. And here's how we're going to do this. So let me step back a little bit. So we're on this journey, right? The first 50 years of our organization, we focused on the hospital. In 2017, we were afforded the opportunity to expand our mission in the community. We had about 6 months to kind of get started and get organized and get our staff hired and find office space and get a website and all these things going. And that was incredibly fulfilling work. We organized around a new mission statement. And I want to read that to you. So the Bloomington Health Foundation invests philanthropic support in partnership with the people and organizations of our community by convening, seeking input, and leveraging existing assets to implement innovative, evidence-based solutions to our community's most pressing health concerns. And so there are a lot of really key words in there that are important. Innovative, evidence-based, collaboration, local, convene, leader. These are the key words that have really inspired our organization to grab this mantle and move boldly into this space. A couple of quick notes on our values. I'm a values-based leader, and we're a values-based organization. And so anytime you start with it's a Pee Wee baseball team or a men's basketball team or an organization, I think it's critical that you start with values, because values create a shared direction that you're going to move towards. And so some of the values that we hold very dear at the Health Foundation include local. Our board affirmed its commitment to being local when they chose to stay independent as an organization. We're collaborative. We believe we can achieve more together. We believe in innovation, bold solutions that are relevant and evidence-based, impact, compelling philanthropic opportunities for our donors, integrity, certainly actions that inspire trust and confidence in excellence, the highest quality and value possible. We are very proud to have one of our board members as a Rotarian today. Winston Schindel has been a longtime member of the foundation, and I want to just put up our board members here because these are people that you know, that you go to church with, that you see at the ballpark, that you see in and around our community. These are people from our community that live here, that have their ear to the ground around what our community's issues are, and they care about this community. So we're really, really proud. Angela Parker serves as our chair. Buck Klemkowski is our treasurer, or vice chair, Buck's an emeriti faculty member from the Kelley School of Business. Don Lukes is the treasurer of Indiana University and also the treasurer of the foundation. Julie Donham, a vice president at German American Bank, and then Ted Green, formerly with Catalent and Cook Pharmica, and most recently with IURTC. Those are the 5 folks that make up our executive committee. So, as a hospital foundation, we had a constituency that was really inside the walls of that hospital. And so my job as the president of the hospital foundation was to make sure I knew what was going on inside the hospital and what the needs were of the nurses, of the doctors, of the people in the ED. And as we expanded our mission, we had to change our perspective. We had to change our perspective. I like to use the analogy, when you go to an IU men's basketball game or a women's basketball game at Assembly Hall, depending on where you sit, the action on the court sometimes feels quite differently. If you're sitting up in the nosebleeds, up in the balcony of Assembly Hall, it's a totally different experience than if you're sitting courtside, or if you're sitting next to the band, or if you're sitting in the student section. One's really loud, one it's kind of hard to see, one maybe you have a baseline view of the action on the court. And so that same analogy is true for us at the foundation. we had to understand how health happens in our community in a new way, in a different way. Certainly the hospital is an essential part, and no organization that claims to be a health foundation, by definition, we care about the health of our hospital, and we'll show a little bit about that in a second with some of the investments we continue to make in our hospital. But we also had to understand how health happens in our community outside of the hospital. And so Karen St. John and I embarked on over 75 plus hours of interviews with anybody and everybody that would meet with us. Jeff Baldwin at the Boys and Girls Club, Monroe County United Ministry, private physicians, therapists, the Red Cross, the Veterans Affairs, Penny Caudill at the Monroe County Health Department, the YMCA of Owen County, the YMCA of Monroe County, the school systems, both school systems. Anybody that had a perspective on health in our community, we wanted to hear from you. We wanted to understand, how does your perspective from where you sit in the school district, or how does your perspective with Monroe County United Ministries, or with Meals on Wheels, or with Volunteers in Medicine, how does that perspective inform how you view and experience the health challenges that our community is facing? And I know that's hard to read, but we've met and continue to meet with Area 10 agency and anybody who has a perspective on health in our community. We had an opportunity to go meet with the Richard M. Fairbanks Foundation in Indianapolis, doing some incredible things in our community. We had an opportunity to meet with Clay Robbins, the CEO of the Lilly Endowment, and get some advice from him and understanding from him about how do we think about our new charter as an organization, and how can we be most impactful as a community organization. And so it's been an incredible part of that journey. So again, first 50 years hospital, had an opportunity to reinvent ourselves. We go through this period of really changing our perspective. And during those meetings, there were three things that we heard time and time again. Three things that probably won't be surprising to you, and I'll share those with you now. Number one, substance use disorder. On everybody's hearts and minds in our community. The impact that addiction is having in our city, in our county, in our region is real. It's here. Many of us have loved ones in our own families who've been afflicted with addiction. Some of us in this room are in long-term recovery. It's real, and it's here, and we are doing a lot as a community to address that. But that was the number one issue that we heard time and time again from our constituents as we were out asking these questions. Number two was access to behavioral health. We have an acute shortage in this community, in this county, in this state, really in this country, how people access behavioral health services. Part of that's just an inequilibrium in supply and demand. We aren't training and educating enough practitioners to meet the demand for behavioral health services. So that was number two. Number one, substance use disorder. Number two was behavioral health access. And number three was, and still confounding to me, was non-emergent medical transportation. So emergent transportation for emergent medical situations, we've got that figured out, right? You call 911, IU Health has a contract with the Monroe County, an ambulance will come up and pick you up and take you to the nearest emergency room. We know how to deal with emergent medical situations in our community. But time and time again, whether we're talking with Nancy Richmond at Volunteers in Medicine, or Chris Abers at the Indiana Recovery Alliance, or the wonderful folks out at Area 10 agency, really any of the folks in the Alzheimer's community, access to non-emergent medical transportation is a huge barrier in this community. Huge barrier. Had no idea. We've got Uber, right? We've got Lyft. We've got BT access and city passes and city buses. And why is this such an issue? But these were the issues that we heard time and time and time again. And so now this takes us to our official launch party that we had in June of 2018, where we launched the Bloomington Health Foundation formally to the community. We had a wonderful event at the convention center. 200 plus people came out to help us celebrate. And we granted $1 million to our community as part of our launch. And consistent with our history and consistent with our ideals, half of that money went to support the hospital. We still hold funds for Bloomington Hospital that donors have entrusted to us. And certainly, you'll hear me say it here, all of your dollars given to us will go to, that you ever given to our foundation, will be donor intent, will be honored on that. And so we had an opportunity to do $500,000 investment into the hospital. But here's the new part. Here's the new part. We also had an opportunity to make a $500,000 investment to other organizations in the community. And I want to talk a little bit about those right now. So these were some of the areas that we invested in. So one of the areas that we invested in was a $160,000 three-year grant to provide a pediatric behavioral health specialist to the Monroe County United Ministries. They serve about 170 kiddos in both of their locations, at the Crestmont and downtown location. And when we were meeting with Aaron Predmore, who's now the chamber director, Aaron's a therapist by training, we said, Aaron, what are your most pressing health concerns with the kiddos that you're serving here at Macomb? And she said, John, I can't deal with all the social and emotional behavior issues that our kids are coming here with in an effective, appropriate way. We've got wonderful teachers, we've got wonderful staff that work and manage the daycare, but when kids present issues that are beyond the scope of the teachers here, we really struggle to serve those kids. And so because of the Bloomington Health Foundation, for the next 3 years, there's a embedded behavioral health, pediatric specialist, behavioral health therapist working in Macomb. And we're really, really proud of that. We're incredibly proud of that. And as wonderful as buying a new x-ray machine is, and it's needed, right? We all want access to great technology. There's something about ensuring that the kiddos at Macomb have access to the healthcare resources they need that, for me, just rests on my heart in a little bit different way. So that's something we're incredibly proud of. The second investment we made was with Catholic Charities. Catholic Charities, some of you may or may not know, is one of the only organizations in our community providing Medicaid pediatric behavioral health services. So if you're really poor and you're a kid, chances are you're being served by Catholic Charities to get behavioral health services. So by our estimation, our investment in them over a 3-year period allowed them to have 1,600 more appointments a year by investing in a case manager and an additional therapist for Catholic Charities to do the work that they're doing in our community. It's just a scratch at the surface, let's be honest. 1,600 is good, and we can pat ourselves on the back, but we really just scratched the surface in terms of the need that is out there. And so our idea is, can we shrink that wait time? Can we depress and compress that wait time? So if Jim Laughlin, my kid's pediatrician, says, you know what, they need a behavioral health referral, maybe we can get them in 3 weeks instead of 3 months. Maybe we can get them in 6 weeks instead of 6 months to be able to see a therapist that they need to see. Other investments that we made include a $50,000 5-year grant to the Bloomington Parks Foundation to provide free sunscreen to Bryan Park and Mills Park Pool. We have a long-standing history of cancer, running in Hoosiers Outrun Cancer in our community, and so that was an investment that we felt was right. Melanoma is the leading cause of cancer, and we wanted to use the opportunity for the kiddos and families that are going to Bryan and Mills Park Pool to have access to free sunscreen and education materials around the kiosks when they're getting the sunscreen. We also have been able to, in support of infant mortality in our community, the number one way and the easiest way to reduce infant mortality is to give infants a safe place to sleep, is to give them a safe place to sleep. So we now have, through a partnership with the Monroe County Health Department, you can come in, register, and get a free pack and play is what I call them, a foldable, collapsible, crib, essentially. Cost us $40. Okay, yeah, we'll buy 5,000 of them, please. And if we can assure that every newborn in our community has a safe place to sleep, yeah, we'll do that, and we'll be really proud of that work. So those are the kinds of examples of some things, and I'll even address on a few more. We had a holiday celebration where we made some additional grants to our community. We provided free Fridays for non-member seniors at the Owen County Y. So if you're a non-member in Owen County and you're a senior, you can go to the Y for free on Fridays because of our support there. We've provided new AEDs for both RBB and MCCSC school corporations. So they have access to, I think we bought 17 new AEDs, so brand spanking new AEDs at all the facilities in our county for the schools. We've purchased new equipment for Susie's Place for Children. Some of you may be familiar with the work that they do at Susie's Place. So now they have access to some new medical record equipment and some new iPads. So the kiddos who go there, they have to do Doc Malone. Maybe some of you know Doc Richard Malone, just a wonderful man, pediatrician. He does the forensic interviews for children who are suspected of having been abused sexually. So they said they need an iPad because it makes it less stressful for the kiddo who's getting examined. They can play games on their iPad. Well, that I think cost us like $400. Yes, please. We'll buy you, every kid, an iPad. If we can help make that experience for the kiddos that are going to Susie's Place less traumatic, then we're really proud of that investment. We provided a $10,000 grant to the New Hope Family Shelter to provide emergency food packs and emergency food for the kiddos who go to their Nest daycare program, and also for families who need emergency infant formula and access to food. They now have an emergency fund to make sure that families that are served by New Hope Family Shelter have access to make sure that their families have access to food. We've continue to support volunteers in medicine over the years, Meals on Wheels as well. So these are the kinds of things that your Bloomington Health Foundation can now do that can serve as an extension of the great work that's already going on in this community. A couple of insights that we've had as we've learned as we've been on this journey. One is, we don't need to reinvent the wheel. There are a lot of wonderful organizations doing great work in this community every day to make our community healthier. A lot of times what they need is just more. They need more of what they're doing to be able to amplify and extend the programs that they're doing. So we don't need another high-quality, low-cost daycare in our community. We have Monroe County United Ministries. What they really need is more capacity to serve more kids. We don't need another food program to deliver hot meals to patients who are homebound. We have Meals on Wheels. What we need to do is help Meals on Wheels expand and serve more of their constituents. So that's one thing that we've learned. And the other thing we've learned is that defining health is really tough. So for some of us in this room, health is wearing my Fitbit, and did I get my 10,000 steps in, and am I going to eat the fruit instead of the chocolate tart back there? And that's health, right? And that's okay, and that's great. Movie theater popcorn is my weakness, so I try to avoid the movie theater popcorn. For yet others in our community, health is, am I going to have enough money to pay for my medicine? How am I going to get a ride to my dialysis appointment? How am I going to afford the new durable medical supplies? I need a lymphedema sleeve. I have cancer. I can't afford it. It's $180 for a lymphedema sleeve. How am I going to afford that? And yet for others in our community, health is, where am I sleeping tonight? Where is my next meal coming from? Healthcare, what is that? I've never had a physician. I've never been to the dentist. I have no primary care physician relationship. And so defining health is a really intimate and personal thing that depends on who you are and where you are in your own life's journey. And so we've been encouraged by so many in this community to grab the mantle of leadership and try to work cross-sector, try to bring people together around the nonprofit sector, but also the for-profit sector, also to say, how can we work together in some new innovative ways to make our community healthier? One shameless plug that I'll put in here, and Lauren, we have a service opportunity for September that we can share with the club. So this year we are honored to support the Hoosiers Outrun Cancer event that's produced by the Bloomington Health Foundation, and this year will be the 20th running of that event. It was started in 2000 by Dorothy Ellis and Karen Knight. Bob Knight actually was the person that named it Hoosiers Outrun Cancer. And so we're excited to be able to celebrate the 20th running of Hoosiers Outrun Cancer, and we need volunteers. So all of you are invited to come help us volunteer for that event. And so the Bloomington Health Foundation, we know you, we've been around, we're the same people who've been here that helped bring Hospice House to the community. We're the same people that have supported the Olcott Center for many years. We're the same people that have supported so many projects that the community has been behind. And so now we're encouraged with this new opportunity to be an extension of all the great work that's going on in our community to provide targeted philanthropic solutions to some of our community's most pressing health needs. The other image that I like to think of is back in my elementary gym class days, and we always like to play tug of war. My imagery is it's going to take every single person in our community pulling on the same rope, on the same side, to move some of these issues forward. Substance use disorder is big and heavy, and can be dark, but we can make progress. I forgot to mention this, it's one of my favorite things we did. We've made a $50,000 investment in partnership with the city of Bloomington and Centerstone to provide people at the very earliest stages of addiction recovery opportunity to get back to work. There's an evidence-based model called employment first. There's housing first models and there are employment first models. And so the city said, hey, we're having trouble filling seasonal positions in our parks department to remove invasive species, to clean the bathrooms, to remove needles that are found in some of our public park spaces. Centerstone said, we'll hire them and oversee these folks in the community. We need the wages, we need the oversight. And so we've partnered with Centerstone in the city. In its second year, we have 18 people now who are working at the Parks Department doing good, honest, hard days' work out in the hot and the sun and the rain, who, let's be honest, would be unemployable by any normal measure. They have literally, some of the folks in this program have 8-page rap sheets. No kidding. So we got to hear from Tammy, who was a graduate of this program. Tammy is a member of our community. She told this story at a conference that I was at. Tammy has 4 kids, had lost custody, had been addicted to drugs since she was 14, in and out of jail. She referenced her 8-page criminal record report. Unemployable, right? Unemployable. She's not going to pass anybody's questionnaire online when she's clicking, around and trying to get a job. So through this program, and the city took a chance on Tammy, Centerstone oversees the program. We've helped provide some of the transportation and support to make the program really click and to grow it. Tammy now has custody of her 4 kids back. She's been offered a full-time job with the city. She's working full-time with them. She has an apartment, and she's working full-time for the city of Bloomington because she was given a chance to get back on her feet. I'm really proud of that. I'm really proud of that. Thank you. And so these are the types of investments that we are going to make in this community. We're going to take some chances. We're going to fall on our face probably a few times. We're going to make some mistakes, but we're going to be bold and we're going to be innovative, and we're going to push for innovative solutions to really tackle some of our community's most pressing health needs. Thank you for the opportunity to be here. I'm happy to take questions. I love this Rotary group. I'm so proud that we get to support the It Takes a Village program, and thanks for letting me be here today. I'm happy to take any questions.
A couple questions. Anybody have one for John?
There's Bloomington Health Foundation, but obviously community is another word, and there must have been some discussion about, are you going to continue to be called Bloomington or Monroe County or?
No, it's a good question. So the question was about our name and our geographic kind of footprint. So we did discuss that early on. We're the Bloomington Health Foundation, but we support Bloomington and neighboring communities. And we've left that kind of intentionally vague because we want to have the flexibility to move out into the county. We want to be able to have the flexibility to go to Owen County, Greene County, Brown County, and impact those communities because we're all working as a region really here. So we wanted to preserve the flexibility. It doesn't say that in our name, but we wanted to capture that kind of our heritage of our name, but also we do have the flexibility to work beyond the city limits of Bloomington.
One more question? Okay, John, thank you so much. Thank you very much, John, and I don't know about you guys, but I want somebody like John leading the organization that I'm passionate about, because he's obviously passionate and going to work every day, ultimately serving all of us, because community health impacts each of us in a very different way, whether it's personal, whether it's direct. I mean, thank you, John, for your passion and commitment to the community and to Rotary. So thank you again. All right, next week we're in the Georgian room, so make note of that, or just come here and it'll send you upstairs. That's what I always do. We have Jeffrey Day Cannon with the city's bicentennial song, so we have that program next week. Thought for the week is, don't close the book when bad things happen in your life. Just turn the page and begin a new chapter. And that, I don't know the name of who said that, but Gene Emery sent me that. So if you guys have a good thought for the week, feel free to send that on to me. So don't close the book when bad things happen in your life. Just turn the page and begin a new chapter. So please join me and rise for the four-way test. Of the things we think, say, and do, first, is it the truth? Second, is it fair to all concerned? Third, will it build goodwill and better friendships? Fourth, will it be beneficial to all concerned? And fifth, is it fun? Have a great week, everybody.